There is a certain film I have seen when I was young. My aunt Agnes was the actress, the main actress, and she was acting as a young girl. She was 14, I think. She was a young girl. But she was acting as a young girl that has taken a decision of following God in her life and not getting married, of course. That is, it was about the option of life, uh, choosing a way of living, praying and living in a congregation. And there was a man that was trying to convince her to leave that option. And that film touched my feelings deeply because to see my aunt in a video film was very important for me. And the central theme was about the the way God called a person, and I don't remember if it was in the same time or many years after, but there was many conversation about how the persons knew that God was wanting that to follow him, to get married with God. And there was so many conversations, so many opinions about it that people used to listen a voice inside, or there is a calling, a mystical calling, and there is a certain, well, there was a lot of conversation about, and that film was one of the material that I usually recall. But another film was my aunt, the same aunt um, invited me to cinema to see a movie, and we three, I don't know, my two sisters, my two elder sisters, and me, the three, because my two sisters younger than me were very young. Then we went to the cinema and see that film about Russia and about a couple um, of a man and a woman um, concerning with politics. And the director, I was looking in the web today, and the actors were Sofia Loren and Marcelo Mastroianni, but I didn't remember. They were very famous actors, Sofia Loren. I didn't remember that there were Sofia Loren and Marcelo Mastroianni, because Marcelo Mastroianni uh, was very named in my family. Was a name very recalling. And the sunflowers of Russian um, was a film of Vitorito de Sica, and of the 1970s, more or less. I don't remember exactly, but I could look it in the web. It was very interesting because in the Facebook there are a part where we can charge the film that we have seen and the books we have read and TV programs. And in TV programs it was very funny for me. Lassie, Rin Tin Tin, Mr. Air. I wanted to add Flipper, but I forget it. I haven't time because I have a few coins for the internet and lost a lot of time trying to add the film of Vitorino de Sica. But I added Melody and Romeo and Julieta and La Raulito, Marilyn Arroz, Igor, and with Romeo and Julieta, Melody, Romeo and Julieta. Well, I don't know if there was other film, but I don't remember the titles of the film. It's very easy to remember the stories of the film, but the titles of the actors or the directors are not so easy to remember. And it's a little difficult to search in a browser by the argument. But once I found a film that it was about a detective that the girl wanted to help him, no, wanted to help. The detective was the father of the girl, and the girl wanted to help the man that he was spying. And it touched my feelings very deeply because I can't believe what I was seeing. I can't believe how the girl keep a very expensive clothes in her violin case and all the things that she did, and she was very. I don't know if she mother told me that perhaps was Geraldine Chaplin, but that film I found it typing in some ideas of the story. I was very glad because I found it, but now I forget again. I don't know. But I remember that there was another film that was about hippies. It was a group of hippies, and there was a black hippie and a white hippie, and have the same woman. And the woman had two kids, one white and one black. And another film was about hippies, but was different, completely different, because there was not a group of hippies, but a girl entered in a group of hippies. But there was not center in the group of hippies. The main actress was the girl that has a normal, a common style of life, and fall in love with a hippie. And the hippie took her away from the home, and after hurt her, make her a lot of bad things, and then she left him and came back to home. And there was another film that I don't remember, it was Dr. Sivago of Omar Sharif and the Oriente business. And there was another that was um, about hippies. I always like hippies because of the music, the pop music. There was a kind of music that hippies were very proud of the music because there was a song that was The Strange of Long Hair, and I like very much the long hair in women, in men, because I like very much the hair of the person. And there was a boy that used long hair, and he was in the group of the church, and it was not very common, the long hair in our group, but he was the only one. And I remember that he was the brother of a girl of the group, and there was two brothers, the girl and the boy, and they lived in a house. And once a day, I was talking with him at the street, and he told me that he was painter, and I was very admired because he seemed to be different from the other persons. And I was so admired, and he smiled because he realized that I was imagining that he was a great painter of pictures, and then he answered me, "No, I paint the walls. I paint." And then I realized that he was a very simple person, and stopped admiring him. And sometimes I imagine many things of people that wasn't real, but I always works very much with imagination, and when I was young, I worked very quickly with imagination. At, when I knew a person, I very quickly imagined many things about people, and nothing to see. There was none. The person there wasn't as imagined. I so quickly. But other boy was a roommate of the catechesis course, and he was studying for he was studying um, to be a father in the church, and he worked in a church that was a group of very young people that was in a liberal way. There were more or less hippies, no hippies, but they were no like our church that were more serious. The young people were not so like his church. And there was a father in that church that all young people loved him very much because he allowed young people to do anything what they want, but instead of making bad things, to love each other, to stay together, to live together, to be very, very tight, everyone with another. And and that church was very different from our church, because there were several kinds of activities, and one was preparing for to be a father. And there was a lot of communications that a man told me that there was a group at the university, that in that group there was one boy that was named the hippie. But I don't remember if that boy was the hippie or if my boyfriend was the hippie. I don't remember what the man told me, but I remember that an engineer told me that he traveled to the south of Argentine. There was a group of hippies, and he spent some days with them, and were very amazing his experience with the hippies, because the hippies were very funny and leaves the water falling without making trouble. And then he told me, because he knew that I like very much groups of hippies, and he told me that he that have a music equipment, that he had to buy a chip for the apparatus. And then the hippies were very glad, because in the town they were difficult to buy that chip. From Buenos Aires was more easier. And the other story was that the hippie of the group knocked the doors, and he was with a white face because he had painted her face. And the man that told me that there were a hippie, but I don't know if what the man of the group of the hippie was my boyfriend, because in that time I have a boyfriend that he left me, and he went to live in the province with a group of hippies. And after he came back to the city and told me the experience, but it seems not to be very good experience, because he wasn't feeling very well in health and in many things, and money, and then I don't remember if the hippie was the group, or but he knocked the door and he was white-faced, because he has to act in a show. And the man that told me that it was a hippie also told me that he knocked the door and was ashamed that Maria saw him with a white face, because Maria was thinking surely that he was a woman, but the truth was that he had to act in the music group. And that hippie group was very smile, because there were one and together, the two were always together, two boys. and the two boys had two girls, and the girls of one of the boys was engineer, and the girls of the other boy was an engineer. But the man that told me about the hippie always told me about the two boys together and told me every private things about them. Told me about the girlfriends and about the feelings or the things that they wanted or the things that they did. And I enjoyed listening all the things that the man told me because perhaps they were about the work that I had to do. And there were the two that were always together, and after the two, there were other boys that came together with the two, and one of the of these were a music boy. But I don't know if the man told me that the two boys that there were the healers uh, called him the hippie of he told me a two sense with double sense.